Hari Om. I am Devika Bhede from Yoga Point India. Welcome to 4th session of YCB Yoga Wellness Instructors course. In today's session, let's begin with asana practice. We have total 33 asanas in our syllabus and you have them for demonstration and teaching too. So, for demonstration, you will be asked to demonstrate 2 or 3 asanas out of all 33 asanas. You just have to demonstrate it. Take the asana, hold it and release it as per examiner's instructions. And for teaching part, you will be asked to teach any 1 or 2 asana as per examiner's choice. And you will be given only 3 to 5 minutes to teach it. And that is why your information or your explanation should be to the point and very precise. In teaching part, you are not required to demonstrate the asana or get it done from students. So you just have to give its introduction, procedure, then talk about duration, do's and don'ts, and then talk about benefits and contraindications or precautions. So pay more emphasis, more time on benefits and contraindications rather than introduction. So first you begin with introduction. You can talk about the name or meaning of Sanskrit name of asana in English. Then you can give its reference in Gheranda Samhita or Hatha Pradipika. Then you can talk about some significant information or benefit about that asana. Keep introduction very short and precise. Then talk about process, how to take the asana, how to hold it and how to release it. Talk about do's and don'ts and its duration. Then talk about benefits first, cover all significant benefits first and then talk about other general benefits if time permits. And then go or talk about contraindications or precautions. Again, first tell significant contraindications and then general contraindications if time permits. So try to be very precise while giving all this information. Please note that today in this session, first I will explain the asana, I will demonstrate it, talk about benefits and contraindications. But this is just for your guidance. So in exam, if you want to make some additions or deletions to it, or if you want to change its pattern, then you can do that. Just cover all important points and make it precise. Follow this checklist. First introduction, then process, duration, benefits and contraindications. So let's begin. Let's begin with prone position first. First, let's start with Bhujangasana. Bhujanga means cobra. When we practice this asana, our body takes the shape of cobra who has raised its hood, and that is why it is known as Bhujangasana. Its reference can be found in Gheranda Samhita and it is a very good back bending asana. To practice this asana, first lie down in prone position on your mat. On your belly, keep your legs together, your toes completely flat on the ground. Your hands by the side of your body and palms facing down. Place your chin on the ground and make sure that your neck, your back and your legs are aligned properly. First, to practice, rest your palms by the side of your chest. Keep your fingers together and thumbs out, making 90-degree angle. Rest your forehead on the ground and elbows pointing upwards. First, exhale completely and while inhaling, slowly lift your forehead, chin, chest, belly up. Straighten your elbows, lift your shoulders or open your shoulders and slowly arch back. In this position, you have to engage your back muscles and your arms. Lift your chin up and try to gaze backwards or towards the sky. Hold this position for 5 to 10 seconds initially and then you can build this asana up to 1 minute. Keep your pelvis, your thighs pressed against the ground. Pay attention to stretch at your lower back. Try to keep your face loose and relaxed and breathe normally. After holding this asana for a few seconds, slowly release it. Bend your elbows and lower your body down. Without jerks, slowly rest your forehead on the ground and go back to prone pose. Keep your hands by the side of your body and your chin on the ground. This is how you release this asana. As I said, duration is that first you can start with 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds and later you can build its duration up to 1 minute. Now let's talk about benefits of this asana. It is back bending asana. It gives strength to your backbone and makes it flexible. It also relieves minor back pain and shoulder pain. It stimulates your abdominal organs, improves your appetite, digestion. It stimulates reproductive organs, cures menstruational problems, opens up your chest, improves or increases capacity of your lungs, and it also helps in awakening Kundalini. Now let's talk about contraindication of this asana. This is back bending asana, which creates a lot of stress on your back and your abdomen. So if you are recovering from abdominal or back surgeries, if you are suffering from any sort of wrist injury, rib injury, swelling at any part of your joints, then avoid this asana. Pregnant women should not practice this asana. So these are contraindications of Bhujangasana. Now let's practice Shalabhasana, locust pose. Shalabha in Sanskrit means locust. When we practice this asana, our body resembles to locust. That is why it is known as locust pose. Its reference can be found in Gheranda Samhita, and this asana begins in prone pose. So to practice, first lie down in prone position with your hands by the side of your body, legs completely flat on the ground and chin on the ground. Then slowly exhale, and while inhaling, lift your legs off the ground as much as you can. Keep your hands by the side of your body and your chin on the ground. Do not lift your chin up, and engage your thighs and your core muscles. Hold this asana for a few seconds. Do not bend your knees, and your thighs should be off the ground. After holding it for a few seconds, slowly release this asana, lower your legs down and go back to prone position. Now let's talk about benefits of this asana. This asana tones your thighs, calf muscles and your abdominal organs. It makes your backbone strong, helps in elimination, improves digestion and appetite. It induces digestive fire, it relieves you from minor back pain, realigns or improves your posture. It is really good because it stimulates your reproductive organ and helps in curing minor menstruational problems. Contraindications of Shalabhasana. Shalabhasana creates excess pressure on your abdomen and on your lower back, and that is why if you are recovering from any abdominal or back surgeries, injuries, if you have swelling at your joints, if your knees are weak, or if you are pregnant, then avoid this asana. Now let's practice Dhanurasana, bow pose. Dhanura in Sanskrit means bow. When we practice this asana, our body resembles to bow, and that is why it is known as Dhanurasana. Dhanurasana is a very nice asana. It gives you benefits of Shalabhasana and Bhujangasana. Its reference can be found in Gheranda Samhita and Hatha Pradipika. To practice Dhanurasana, first lie down on the ground in prone position. Keep your legs together, hands by the side of your body and your chin on the ground. Then slowly bend your knees and take hold of your ankles. Initially, ideally, you have to keep your legs together, but at the beginning, you can take distance, shoulder distance or comfortable distance in your legs. Rest your forehead on the ground, exhale completely, and while inhaling, slowly lift your head, chest up, simultaneously lift your thighs off the ground, and then stretch your upper body and lower body towards the sky. Practice as much as you can. Do not force, do not struggle. Your body weight should be on your abdomen and not on your pubic muscle. Keep your face loose and relaxed, eyes closed, and start breathing naturally. Hold this asana for a few seconds at the beginning, and then you can increase its duration up to 1 minute or more. To release this asana, slowly inhale, and while exhaling, lower your body down. Rest your thighs on the ground, your forehead on the ground. Then slowly release your hands, straighten your legs, and go back to prone position. Benefits of Dhanurasana. Dhanurasana gives you all benefits of Bhujangasana and Shalabhasana. It tones your back, strengthens your back and abdominal organs, increases your digestion or appetite. It helps in elimination, cures menstruational problems, gastrointestinal problems. It opens up your chest, improves the respiration. It helps to cure infertility, and it also prevents premature aging of your bones. Contraindications of Dhanurasana. Dhanurasana creates a lot of pressure on your back and your belly. also on your legs. That is why if you are recovering from any kind of surgeries, injuries, swelling, pain in your joints, then avoid this asana. People who are suffering from hernia, high BP, low BP, ulcers, or migraine, headache should avoid this asana. Pregnant women should not practice Dhanurasana. Now let's practice Makarasana, crocodile pose. Meaning of Sanskrit word Makar is crocodile, and that is why it is known as crocodile pose or Makarasana. Makarasan's reference can be found in Hiranya Samhita and it is relaxing asana. To practice this asana, first lie down in prone pose with your legs together, feet flat, hands by the side of your body and chin on the ground. Then slowly take distance in your legs 2 to 3 feet as per your comfort. Tilt your heels in and toes out. Then fold your hands over your head and place your forehead over your hands. You can tilt your neck to either side, right or left. Then gently close your eyes and relax. You can practice this asana for 1 or 2 minutes, or you can practice it for 10 minutes as well. It is rejuvenating and relaxing asana. Do's are that in this position, bring your awareness to yourself, your body, and your breathing, and keep other thoughts away. Deliberately relax your muscles to reduce your nerve impulses and tone, to give proper relaxation to yourself. Benefits of Makarasana. Makarasana is a relaxing asana and it rejuvenates your whole body and mind. It give rest to your respiration, circulation. It helps you prevent stress, anxiety, fatigue, depression, psychosomatic disorders. And it is generally practiced at the end of the yoga session to relax your body completely. Contraindications of Makarasana. There are no contraindications as such. You can practice this asana for relaxation, but if you have undergone from abdominal surgeries or injuries, then avoid lying down on your belly. Now let's practice asanas in supine position. Pavan Muktasana, wind release pose. This is a very powerful asana which benefits your entire digestive system. It begins in supine pose. So to practice this asana, first you lie down on the mat in supine pose over your back. Keep your legs together, toes flexed towards the ceiling. Place your hands by the side of your body, palms facing down and gaze up. This is supine position. Keep your body properly aligned and relaxed. Then to practice this asana, first inhale and while inhaling, lift your both legs up at 90 degree from the ground, keeping your knees straight and legs together. Then slowly bend your knees and rest your thighs over your abdomen. Wrap your arms around your legs as tight as possible and take hold of your opposite elbows. Keep your back flat. After attaining this position, slowly exhale and while exhaling, lift your upper back, neck, head up and try to fix your chin in between your knees. Hold this asana initially for 5 to 10 seconds and then you can practice it up to 1 minute. Keep breathing naturally, relax all your muscles, do not exert over or excess pressure over your belly or on your neck. Take comfortable position and start breathing naturally. Then to release this asana, first exhale and while exhaling lower your head down on the ground. Release your hands, straighten your legs up at 90 degrees from the ground and then slowly release. Go back to supine position. Benefits of Pavan Muktasana. Pavan Muktasana stimulates and strengthens your abdominal organs. It stretches your back, cures minor back pain. It improves appetite, digestion, prevents constipation, indigestion, or acidity, and it also helps you to cure all kind of gastrointestinal problems. It is very good for your reproductive organs and helps you to relieve all sort of menstrual problems. Contraindication of Pavan Muktasana. Pavan Muktasana creates a lot of pressure on your belly, abdomen, and that is why if you are recovering from any abdominal surgeries or back surgeries, avoid this asana. Avoid it if you are suffering from hernia, ulcer, piles. If you have neck injury, then you can rest your head on the ground and practice this asana. Pregnant women should not practice Pavan Muktasana. Now let's practice variation of Pavan Muktasan. In variation, we will practice same asan just with one leg at a time. So first we will practice it from right side and then from left. It is also known as Ardha Pavan Muktasan. So to practice this asan, first lie down on the ground in supine position. Then slowly lift your right leg up at 90 degree from the ground, keeping your left leg straight, left knee flat on the ground. Then slowly bend your right knee, place your thigh over your belly, wrap your arms around as tight as you can and take hold of your opposite elbows. Slowly exhale, and while inhaling, slowly lift your head up and touch your chin to your knee. Hold this position for 5 to 10 seconds initially, then you can increase its duration up to 1 minute. Slowly release. To release, first release your head, rest your head on the ground. Release your hands, straighten your leg, and while exhaling, slowly bring your leg down. And then repeat this process from other side. Benefits and contraindications of Ardha Pavan Muktasan are same to Pavan Muktasan. Sarala Matsyasan, fish pose. In this asan, our body resembles to the fish, and that is why it is known as Matsyasan or Sarala Matsyasan. Its reference can be found in Gheranda Samhita, and this asan is practiced as counter position of Sarvangasana. To practice this asan, first lie down comfortably on your mat in supine pose. Keep your hands by the side of your body, your legs should be together, toes flexed towards the ceiling, and back completely flat on the ground. To practice, first bend your elbows and place your palms by the side of your head, your fingers together and pointing towards your shoulders. Keep your legs together and straight as they are. Then slowly inhale, and while inhaling, curve your back, lift your body up, lift your upper back, neck, head up, bend your neck, and try to rest your crown on the ground. After attaining this position, if you feel comfortable, you release your hands and place them by the side of your body, facing your palm down. Hold this asan for some duration, for 5 seconds to 10 seconds initially, and then you can increase its duration up to 1 minute. Keep your body steady and your neck loose and relaxed. To release this asan, again place your palms by the side of your head, keeping your fingers pointing towards your shoulders. Inhale, slowly straighten your neck, your head, and lie down on the ground in supine position. Release your hands and hands by the side of your body. As I said, duration of this asan is 1 minute, but initially you can start with 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then go on building duration of this asan. Benefits of Sarala Matsyasan. This asan is practiced as a counter position of Sarvangasana. It helps to relieve strain from applying Jalandhar Bandha. It stimulates your thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, carotid artery. It also stimulates your thymus gland. It increases blood supply to your head, your neck, your reproductive organs, and your digestive system. So it stimulates your digestion, increases appetite, curves your spine, so it strengthens your spine and shoulders too. It strengthens your back, relieves minor back pain, and boosts your immunity. Contraindication of Sarala Matsyasan. Sarala Matsyasan creates a lot of pressure on your neck, on your back, and belly. So if you are recovering from any kind of surgery, injury, swelling at your joint, then avoid this asan. If you are suffering from BP, high BP or low BP, migraine, insomnia, vertigo, then please avoid this asan. Setu Bandhasan, bridge pose. Setu in Sanskrit means bridge. When we practice this asan, our body resembles to the bridge, and that is why it is known as bridge pose. It is a very nice asan. It tones your abdomen and your back and increases strength. To practice this asan, first lie down in supine pose. Keep your back completely flat on the ground, hands by the side of your body, palms facing down, and your legs together. Keep your toes flexed towards the ceiling. Then, slowly bend your knees and keep your legs hip width apart or shoulder width apart as per your comfort. Keep your feet completely flat on the ground. Then slowly take hold of your ankles and while inhaling, push your torso up towards the sky as much as you can, keeping your neck loose and relaxed. After attaining this position, slowly rest your elbows on the ground comfortably and support your back. While supporting your back, you can keep your fingers pointing towards your shoulders or away from your shoulders as per your comfort. Keep your upper arm parallel to the ground and your forearm pointing towards the sky. After attaining this position, if you feel comfortable, you can start straightening your knees. One by one, straighten your legs, keep your legs together or apart as per your comfort and hold this asana for some duration. To release this asana, slowly bend your knees, release your hands and slowly rest your body down on the ground. Straighten your legs and go back to supine position. Do not give jerks, do not struggle, practice as per your comfort. Duration of this asana is first initially it is little difficult, so you can keep your knees bent initially and hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. Then with regular practice you can increase its time from few seconds to 1 minute. Benefits of Setu Bandhasana. Setu Bandhasana increases your stamina and energy. It strengthens and stimulates your shoulders, elbows, arms, your back, hip joints, knees and ankles. It requires balance and it increases your focus. It relieves accumulated blood from your vertebra, opens up your chest, helps to relieve minor breathing problem or asthma, and it also stimulates your digestion, increases appetite, stimulates your intestine, helps in elimination, and also stimulates your reproductive organs. Contraindications of Setu Bandhasana. This asana creates excess pressure on your shoulders, elbows, wrists, your back, belly and legs. And that is why if you are recovering from any kind of surgery, injury, swelling, pain at any joint or muscle, then please avoid this asana. If you are suffering from BP, hernia, ulcers, vertigo, migraine, insomnia, then practice this under expert guidance. Pregnant women should avoid this asana. Shavasana, corpse pose. Shavasana, Shava means dead body. In this position, our body looks like a dead body because we lie down on the ground without any movement, and that is why it is known as Shavasana. This asana is referred in Ghiranda Samhita and it is used for relaxation and unwinding. To practice this asana, first lie down on the ground in comfortable position. Keep your legs together, hands by the side of your body and gaze up in supine pose. Then, slowly take distance in your legs. You can keep your legs 2 to 3 feet apart. Keep your hands away from your body, your palms facing up towards the sky and tilt your neck to either side, right or left as per your comfort. Very gently close your eyes and start breathing naturally. Shavasana is very easy to enter into but is very difficult to practice because in this asana you have to deliberately relax each and every muscle of your body. So start scanning your body from your toes towards your head, look for tension and let it go. Deliberately relax tone of your muscles and your nerve impulses. Pay attention or be more aware of your breathing and try to calm yourself down. Don't fall asleep in this position and don't move your body parts. To release Shavasana, first again be aware of your breathing pattern, be aware of your body. Slowly make movement of your toes, your fingers, then move your legs, your hands and then your entire body. Once you are comfortable, slowly inhale, open your eyes and release the pose. Duration of this asana can be from 1 minute up to as long as you want to practice it because it is a relaxing asana. To gain maximum benefits of Shavasana, practice it at least for 1 or 2 minutes. Don't move your body and don't fall asleep. Benefits of Shavasana. Shavasana is a relaxing asana. It rejuvenates your whole body and mind. helps you to cool down and fight with stress, fatigue, anxiety, depression, psychosomatic disorders. It helps you to develop Pratyahara. Next asana is Dvipad Uttan Padasana. Dvi means two and Pada means legs. So in this asana, we lift our both legs up from the ground. That is why it is known as Dvipad Uttan Padasana. It stretches and stimulates our abdominal organs. To practice Dvipad Uttan Padasana, first lie down on the ground in supine pose with your legs together and hands by the side of your body. Then slowly inhale, and while inhaling, lift your legs up from the ground at 45 degrees. Keep your legs up and hold. Keep your core muscles firm. To release, slowly inhale, and while exhaling, bring your legs down and go back to supine pose. Benefits of Dvipad Uttan Padasana. In Dvipad Uttan Padasana, we lift our legs up at 90 degrees from the ground, which facilitates accumulated blood in our legs to flow towards our heart easily. It stimulates abdominal organs, our digestive system, each and every organ in our digestive system, stimulates digestive glands, helps in preventing constipation in digestion. Also increases our core strength and helps in reducing belly fats. Contraindications of Dvipad Uttan Padasana. Dvipad Uttan Padasana puts a lot of pressure on your spine, on your core and on your legs. So if you have undergone from any kind of surgery, injury related to your legs, abdomen, back and neck, shoulders, then please avoid this asana. If you have high BP, low BP, then practice it under expert guidance. Patients suffering from hernia, ulcers should avoid practicing Dvipad Uttan Padasana. Ardha Halasana. In Ardha Halasana also, we lift our legs up like Dvipad Uttan Padasana. It begins in supine position. To practice it, first lie down on the ground in supine pose, keep your legs together and hands by the side of your body. Then slowly inhale, and while inhaling, lift your legs up from the ground at 90 degrees, keeping your back flat, legs together, knees straight and toes pointing towards the sky. Hold this for some duration and then slowly release. While releasing, inhale, and while exhaling, slowly bring your legs down and go back to supine pose. Duration of this asana. Initially, this asana creates a lot of pressure on your core muscles. So practice it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds and then go on increasing its duration up to 1 minute. Benefits of Ardha Halasana. Ardha Halasana prepares your body for Purna Halasana pose. Then it also facilitates blood flow towards your heart easily. It stimulates your digestive organ, excretory organ. So it helps you to prevent indigestion, constipation, helps in elimination, stimulates digestive glands. It also strengthens and stretches your spine, hip joints and keep your core muscles tight and healthy. Helps you in releasing or reducing belly fat. Contraindications of Ardha Halasana. If you are suffering from any kind of surgery, injury, leg injury surgery or back, abdominal surgeries injuries, then avoid this asana. Patients of BP, hernia, ulcers should practice this asana under expert guidance.